So here we are here to talk on everything that you need to know about PCOS. To my dear friends, I would like to say, keep a paper pencil ready. If you find any question, you can type it in the chat box and we will answer that question. You can write it and ask after the session. I would be speaking for 25 to 30 minutes, and then you can ask your questions which we will answer. So here is everything you need to know about PCOS. This we are all aware. A mother and a daughter have a really beautiful relationship, and a mother does everything to protect her little girl from injury. And a mother has to face a situation when the girl reaches adolescence, since she undergoes many physical and emotional changes. A girl, a small child who is so loving, suddenly the mother becomes her enemy number one. Adolescence generally corresponds roughly to an age group of 10 to 19 years. I know we used to say that it is 13 to 19, but now adolescence, because of all this exposure and media, it's coming much earlier. We have young girls menstruating at 10 and even earlier. So adolescence now generally corresponds to an age group of 10 to 14, 19 years. And there are major physical changes. You know all these changes. There is axillary and pubic hair growth. There are changes in body conformation. There is development of external and internal reproductive organs. So some things you can see, the breast bud, it starts coming up, it is painful. But the internal reproductive organs you cannot see. But you know them by their effects. So the effect is was this photograph is not going somewhere. I want to read the slide, but I can't see it. Widening of what? So,
Ma'am, it's widening of hips.
okay, widening of hips. Then there is the female reproductive system that grows up. So the fallopian tubes, ovary, the uterus grows into an adult size, the cervix grows, the vagina becomes roomy, the endometrial changes take place, and this leads to menstruation. And there are changes in vagina, cervix, uterus, fallopian tube, and ovaries. And the length of a menstrual cycle for study purposes is 28 days. But please remember, this is just an ideal date. This is not the actual date of the duration of the cycle. It may vary from as little as 25 to 35 days. So if you are 2-3 days here and there, you don't need to stress out about it. Okay. So the length of the menstrual cycle ideally is 28 days, where around day 14, the egg ruptures. And once the egg is ruptured, then after 14 days, if pregnancy does not occur, there will be menstruation. So the duration from formation of the egg to menstruation is fixed at 14 days. But the duration from menstruation to when the egg is going to be formed is not fixed. This you have to understand. The duration means the first half of the cycle, when the egg is being formed and released, may vary from 7 days to months together. So just because somebody has menstruation once in 3 months doesn't mean they are not making eggs. If somebody, all your menstrual cycle, here you are seeing only the ovary, but it is coded in the brain. And the coding in the brain is such that some people may have menstruation once in 3 months all their lives and still be very fertile. And there are others who have menstruation every month or maybe in 25 days, 26 days, and still they are not fertile. They are not making eggs. So this menstruation is not a sign that eggs are being made. This you have to understand. It's because of changes in estrogen and progesterone, but just having menstruation doesn't mean that eggs are being made. Balance is the key to life. Samatvam yoga uchyate, as the Bhagavad Gita says. So there is estrogen and progesterone, which are the two feminine hormones, and a proper balance between these two leads to a healthy ovarian and endometrial menstrual cycle. A proper hormonal balance is important for a girl to lead a happy and confident life. You know, the ability to think independently. Girls have, what happens when you become a teenager? You start thinking independently. You are not ready to listen to everything that you have heard or read. You're more attentive towards the mirror. Suddenly the mirror is your best friend or your most worst enemy, because now you've got pimples and you're hating it because you've got pimples. And then peer interactions become more important than interactions with the family. This is a normal change. Where are this estrogen and progesterone produced? They are both produced in the ovary. They are produced in the ovaries, and I think all of you know that every girl has two ovaries on each side of the uterus. If there is an imbalance in the release of hormones, then it may lead to a condition known as polycystic ovarian syndrome. Now here is anda pehle ki murgi pehle. So whether the imbalance causes PCOD or PCOD causes imbalance is $1 million question that we have to think about. What is PCOS? Here you can see the image. There's a normal ovary and there is a polycystic ovary. In a normal ovary, you have only one good egg. And in polycystic ovarian disease, the ovary is full of eggs. And there are so many eggs, but none of them grow up and rupture. That is the worst part. They don't grow up and rupture. No egg is released. So the name polycystic ovary, it is a syndrome. It's a combination of many things. And in that there are enlarged ovaries with small follicles in it, ranging from 2 mm to 8 mm. That is the size of the cyst in the ovaries. If you cut open the ovary, this is a diagrammatic representation that these are all follicles. It's just full of small follicles. They are not harmful, but what is happening is that the eggs are getting finished. If in a normal cycle 6 to 8 eggs are being used, here more than 30 to 50 eggs are being used every cycle. So the eggs may finish fast because the egg is not being released, progesterone is not formed, and the imbalance happens. The facts about PCOS, it is the most common endocrine disorder in women. There may be irregular periods, absent period, facial hair, central obesity. If it is not treated or controlled, it may lead to diabetes, hypertension, metabolic syndrome, uterine cancer, and it is also a leading cause of infertility. What are the most common symptoms? Irregular menstruation, absent menstruation, delayed menstruation, scanty menstruation, or delayed periods, which when it comes, it doesn't stop. All these can be features of PCOS. What is actually happening? There is insulin resistance, means you have insulin, but you're not using it. The ovaries have 12 or more follicles. This definition is changed now by the advanced machines that we do. You call it 26 or more. There is difficulty in getting pregnant for more than a year. You may be overweight or very thin, but if you're overweight, it is difficult to lose weight. There are mood changes, depression, anxiety, and there is high androgen, or the male hormone is more. And in that case, there is acne, there is facial hair, there is thinning and balding of hair. So you lose a lot of hair and it causes a lot of distress. What is the occurrence of PCOS in India? Study conducted in Division of Yoga and Life Sciences in Bangalore on 460 girls between 15 to 18 found that the prevalence is 9 to 13%. And this, my dear, is a very high percentage. At least 1 in 10 girls is affected, and I would say much more than that. Because PCOS is emerging as a new epidemic in India. This is a study of 460 girls. I've been in practice for more than 30 years, and I can definitely tell you that this percentage is increasing day by day. Each doctor reports over 50 patients with polycystic ovarian disease every month in the age group of 14 to 28 years of age. What causes it? So there are genetic causes, environmental causes, and it causes menstrual irregularities. There is increase in androgen or testosterone. There is increase in insulin. There is anovulation, means eggs are not released. There is hirsutism, hair comes where you don't want it and it goes from where you want it. There is acne, your sugar tolerance becomes less, and it may lead to diabetes type 2, hypertension, and cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular disease is the effect of hypertension on your heart. So all this can happen if it is not properly treated. What is the cause of PCOS? We don't know. That is the truthful answer. We do not know. Whenever we don't know, there are always thousands of theories. Now what you say is PCOS may already have its origin in fetal life, but it starts, appearing in adolescence. Daughters of women with PCOS are at an increased risk of developing PCOS. Now, this is emerging as a lifestyle disease. It's emerging as a lifestyle disease which is rising in India, especially in young girls. Why? Girls are into every profession that boys are in. And so there is increased stress. If all of you can see Reena's face on the screen, she's looking so tense. Don't set yourself up for PCOS, okay? Relax. So there is increased stress. Then there is excessive eating of junk food. It's a peer pressure to go out, to eat. You may not even like it. But if you eat something often enough, in that case, you start liking it as well. And we call it junk food because it is addictive. It causes changes in your brain and you want it over and over again. Therefore, excessive eating of junk food, increasing obesity, and lack of exercise. Can you see this girl sitting with that popcorn? Now, such patients, when they come to me, when I ask, what did you eat? I just had a bowl of popcorn, and now you can see the size of the bowl. So friends, if we set ourselves up for lifestyle diseases, then we are the ones who are cheating ourselves. Don't do it. Get active, learn to relax, have a regular routine, and home cooked food may not always be good, because if you're cooking at home and you're eating kachori and aloo tikki, and I had a patient of mine many years back. She came to me when she was 87 kilograms. So I told her, please lose weight. This will harm you. You are only 5 feet in height and you're 87 kg. And I saw her after 3 years and she was 135 kg. And she said that I eat only one bowl of sabji and one single fulka. All of you will agree with me that it is not possible. But her bowl, when she brought it, I asked her to get it for me. And you know, in army, yeah, they have a big bowl, which is a multi-purpose bowl. They wash in it and they clean in it. And that was the size of the bowl in which she was having sabji. And that was either saag or chole or maa ki dal or something like that. So we have to be responsible for our own health, and not everything is done by doctors. This part is done by you. This is the part where you have to take control of your life, let go of stress, not much of junk food, and don't let obesity get its hold on you. What are the signs and symptoms? There is hirsutism, means hair where you don't want it. There is acne or pimples. Menses is at times not coming. Sometimes it is scanty, sometimes it is heavy. There is infertility. And if you get pregnant, there is pregnancy loss. All these things can happen. And what is happening to your metabolism? What exactly is happening? There is obesity, there is insulin resistance. 10% persons of PCOS will get diabetic, frank diabetes by the time they are 40, and there is heart disease. So can you see this figure? The Android or the Apple, and the peer or the gynecoid obesity. So the gynecoid obesity is not so good, not so bad, but the Apple type obesity is really bad for you. What are the clinical features? The family history is important. The family history of glucose intolerance, obesity, hypertension, metabolic syndrome, hyperuricemia. Hyperuricemia patient will have uric acid बढ़ गया तो छोटे joints में pain होता है. Heart disease, stroke, pancreatitis, gestational diabetes, hirsutism, PCO, or fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic. So these are all relevant in family history. In your own history, what is the birth weight? Whether your puberty was early, how this obesity has developed, what are the dietary habits, what is your physical activity, and whatever medicines you are taking. And physically, what you can see in PCOS, acanthosis nigricans is a black line in the center of your tummy. There are stretch marks. There is obesity in your abdomen in the central area. There is a lot of fat deposition in your breasts. Blood pressure increases, acne. There is hair loss and hair growth. Menses may come before time, and there is genovalgum because of the obesity. Your limb is, further away. Means I don't know how to describe it. It's like this way. This is how your upper limb would be. Irregular or absent periods. Menstrual irregularity is a common feature. It is at times the earliest sign. So if 6 to 8 weeks interval is there, then we call it amenorrhea, irregular period. There is acne or oily skin. What happens once a girl gets acne? Acne is associated with a greater psychological burden. You're not satisfied with your appearance. The mirror becomes your enemy. You don't have confidence to go out with your friends or go out and show your face. And very young girls who are not really anchored to their families may even have suicidal tendencies. Then there is hirsutism. And this hair, even if it is removed by electrolysis, it usually comes back because the hormonal effect is continuing. So the hormones have to be controlled first before the hirsutism can be treated. There is hair on the face and there is hair on the chest. Hirsutism can threaten a girl's feminine identity and can result in psychological stress. This happens because of an excess of testosterone. Excess of testosterone means there is acne and there is hirsutism. In males, the amount of testosterone is 7 to 8 times more than in a female. But if a female estrogen is there, progesterone is less, and testosterone starts rising, the delicate balance is disturbed, and the effects of hyperandrogenemia are seen. An excess of testosterone plays an important role in the development of PCOS. The majority of girls with PCOS have excess testosterone. So here you can see the girl with high testosterone is usually heavier, and low testosterone, the girl is a little lighter. There is excessive fat around the stomach, which is known as central obesity in PCOS. Being overweight can increase the risk of PCOS, and once you get PCOS, you go on increasing in weight due to hormonal disturbance. What are other symptoms? You can see there are dark patches on the back of the neck. This is known as acanthosis. Hair loss or thinning of hair. So thus PCOS can snatch away the femininity of a girl by causing acne, hirsutism, hair loss, blackening of skin, and central obesity. What happens to the girl then? There is lack of self-confidence, there is social embarrassment, there is anxiety and depression, and all this together may lead to suicidal tendencies. We have a habit of hiding these things, that no, we'll not mention it, but you have to come out with anxiety and depression and get treatment. Thus PCOS can seriously challenge the femininity of any girl, and if you have had PCOS for a long time, it can cause serious adverse effects in the future. What are the future risks? Adolescent obesity leads to continued irregular periods in the future, leading to infertility or inability to have a baby. There is increased risk of developing diabetes, increased risk of cardiac problems, and there is increased risk of uterine cancer as well. What is the main culprit? It is insulin resistance. What do we mean by insulin resistance? It means that there is insulin in the body, but the cells of the body do not respond to insulin. When the body does not respond to insulin, the level of glucose in the blood increases. This may cause more insulin to be produced as the body tries to move glucose into cells. Insulin resistance can lead to diabetes. As I told you before, 1 in 10 will get diabetes before they are 40. So what are the symptoms of insulin resistance? Another thing, if they get pregnant, they get gestational diabetes mellitus, means they get diabetes in pregnancy as well. Increased chances of abortion. This we all know, that if there is insulin resistance, there is extreme thirst or hunger, feeling hungry after a meal, increased or frequent urination, tingling sensation in hands or feet, feeling more tired, getting infections, and you can see it on blood. So there is craving for sweet and salty foods. There is darkening of the skin in the groin, armpits, or behind the neck. So there is sugar, you take it, insulin is released. If there is insulin resistance, then testosterone is increased and you get polycystic ovarian disease. When higher than normal levels of androgen are produced, the ovaries may be prevented from releasing an egg every month, which is called ovulation. High androgen levels also cause unwanted hair growth. This insulin resistance is not diabetes, but it is definitely metabolic syndrome. And they increase the chances of diabetes in future. If you have this syndrome for a long period of time, you get diabetes much earlier. And most of the girls who have PCOD will end up with diabetes after menopause. So you need to control it now when you're still young. What happens in diabetes due to insulin resistance? More than 50% of women with PCOS will develop diabetes or pre-diabetes before they turn 40. So 10% will get diabetes before 40 and the rest will get pre-diabetes. They have a 4 to 7 times greater risk of heart attack. There are depression, mood swings, anxiety. All this happens because of insulin resistance and hormonal imbalance. And they are an increased risk of endometrial cancer, as the lack of progesterone hormone can thicken the endometrium and cause heavy or irregular bleeding. Over time, this can lead to cancer. How do you diagnose it? This is the ovary. As you can see here, this is a PCOS ovary, so it is all white. Your gynec and family history, a physical examination, a pelvic exam to check your ovaries, an ultrasound to count the follicles, and a blood test to measure hormones and determine whether there is an underlying thyroid or pituitary problem. Now, after so much of information, if you're thinking that PCOS is the end of the road for a girl, then you're wrong. They can be managed, they can be treated. Only thing is that it is not 3 months course or 6 months course, because it starts with being a lifestyle disorder. So there are lifestyle changes that you make for all your life, and there are certain things that you need to do all your life and be more aware. So PCOS management, oral contraceptives of different types can be given to regularize the hormonal imbalance. This reduces the acne, the excess hair, and regularizes the menstrual cycle. So there are two types of treatments, two levels. Initial steps are the lifestyle adjustments that include a nutritious diet, regular exercise, and good habits. When I say good habits, it means a regular time to wake up, a regular time to sleep, a regular time to eat, and a regular time to exercise. Because all your hormones, your growth hormone, the reparative hormones are released between midnight and 4 a.m. when you are asleep. So that is the time when you should be asleep. Staying awake on any pretext beyond midnight does not work. You are setting yourself up for PCOD. There are two levels of treatment: alternative medicine, phytoestrogenic supplements, hormone regulating supplements, herbal supplements. And then there are medicines, which are hormones, anti-androgens, anti-diabetic drugs. Now, what are the diet tips? You have to increase the fiber intake, increase meal frequency, include omega-3 fatty acids or flax seeds. If you are a non-vegetarian, you can have fish, you can have green veggies. Here they have said, don't take dairy produce. I would not agree with that. For vegetarians, you need to take dairy produce, but the rest, avoid foods with high glycemic value. They are harder to break down. Avoid red meat. Avoid saturated fats, trans fats. Again, I would not go with saturated fats. Cow ghee now is back. You can have it. But dalda or trans fat, which is found in most of the cookies that you get from the market, they are not good. And then any refined grain has to be taken as little as possible. Here they have mentioned maida. I would add white rice. You know, white rice, even the dals that we have, once we have, take a little bit of dal, put a lot of water, overcook it, mash it, it all becomes refined. So what you need to do is to take food that is as near the original as possible. Workout is required. Now, you know, these days I see girls where they say, oh, we go to the gym. and we work out for 2 hours. It is not possible to work out in the gym for 2 hours. If you count the actual time you are working out, it would not be more than 40-45 minutes. You're waiting for the machine, you're relaxing, you're chatting, a lot of things go on. But personally, my advice is adopt a method of exercise that you can do all your life. You cannot be gymming all your life, but you can definitely be walking all your life. You can do Surya Namaskar all your life. So the better, you can do floor exercises, which are good for muscle tone and figure. And you can do walking, running, jogging. These are things that you will be able to do every day of your life, and you would not require any kind of equipment for that. So try to be regular in your exercise. The exercise should, it should make your heart race, it should increase your strength, and all your bones and joints should be used. So this is regarding exercise. And if you exercise regularly, and 1 hour of exercise and 23 hours of rest also does not work. So you need to be active the rest of the day as well. It's not you're going to exercise right now and then 1 hour you've exercised, ab to thak gaye, and then you're doing nothing else all day. You need to be standing 1 minute, 2 minutes every hour. You need to be walking a bit all through the day, not just once or twice a day. So being active is a way of life. It is not just 1 hour of gymming or exercise or anything. So are you ready to kick out PCOS from your life? Then you have to follow the rules. Regular exercise, keeping your weight in check, follow a healthy diet, lead a happy and stress-free life, and consult a gynecologist. Be in touch, be healthy. So let us lead a PCOS-free life. Thank you.